welcome to Maui Mysteries, the channel that brings you interdimensional content, which means that the readings are from a broad and expansive point of view, as they are channeled through vast dimensions of space and time, and therefore should resonate with you guys whenever you come across them. So, as you can see from the title, this transmission is about iNZUNZA, neNKANYAMBA, and I'm talking about when you connect to the aspect of yourself that has embodied iNZUNZA. Now, why am I saying it like that? Why am I saying connect to an aspect of you? Because you are currently working towards embodying iNZUNZA, right? But obviously, because time isn't linear, there already exists a space and time where you have embodied iNZUNZA, where you are your higher self. That's why you're able to communicate with your higher self, because there is a dimension where you've already put shit together. You already you already get it. And it is from that place that you are downloading and you are connecting so that you can receive assistance within your current path. And when you do embody your higher self, there'll be another state of being that you will suddenly be aware of that maybe you're not aware of right now because you're still working towards embodying iNZUNZA or your higher self. And once you get there, though, more opens up. And yeah, and one of those mores is iNkanyamba. The neNKANYAMBA template. The neNKANYAMBA template opens up to you when you embody iNZUNZA yako, or rather when you are in the process of embodying iNZUNZA yako, you will start to connect with the matrix of iNkanyamba, which is the reality of your higher self. So with iNZUNZA, it's about the person. It's about the inner work. It's about the inner world. It's about the self. And as you're doing that, obviously, externally, things also change because the external is a reflection of your inner world. So once you are connected to your true templates, the external reality shifts. You engage with people differently than you did before. You engage with everything externally. You do it different. It might still have the same titles, but you are on the 3.0 version of that. Like, obviously, before you did the work, you were a mother, or you were a partner, or you were a business owner or starter, or you were someone that wants to do that, or you were someone who is a data capturer, or you made wedding dresses, whatever. And after, as you're going through the process of this embodiment, which is the process of the spiritual work, of the inner work, it is that you are still those things. You are still a mother, you're still a partner, you're still the wedding dress maker, but you're so much better at it. You're still the data capturer, you're still the CEO, you're still the musician, but you're so much better at it because you've connected to true elements of yourself. You are now collaborating with the universe, not just on a simulacra level where it's like a copy of the real thing, but you've actually connected to an aspect of the real thing, which may be something that you cannot even explain, which may be something that you cannot even, pinpoint. Uh, but you feel it. You know the difference between who you are now and who you were before. When I say sense of self, you know exactly what that means. You know what it felt like before to feel as if the wind passes through you. Like you're, that ghost in a shell thing. And I know it's interesting actually with that movie because, we all look at her and we're like, oh, she's so cool, she's so amazing. But shem umntana bantu udizi loya mntana, like, to be honest, she doesn't even know if she's coming or going. She wants so badly to have a sense of self. Like, yes, she is, kind of like, I wanted to say superhuman, but she's like transhuman more. But she's super at that. Yeah, it's kind of like embodying iNZUNZA yako, but yeah, but needing to go back. I just realized something, because with some people it is that. With some people, now you're not even going through the journey of iNZUNZA embodiment. To be honest, you've always been that person. Sure, this reading just went somewhere where I didn't think it would go. Something I didn't think I would speak about. But completely makes sense, because like, people ever have an iNZUNZA, right? When you walk with this entity or spirit, this inner spirit that we call iNZUNZA. It's not something that you acquire like after you're born. It's something that you're born with. So really, like, you kind of and that's why I speak so much about the social construct, especially in relation to people that walk with this, because basically what it means, like, mawuhamba nenzunza njengoba uzalwe uhamba nayo uyiyo already. The reason why sesithi uhamba nenzunza is because the social construct has now made you think you're someone else. So that's why we now saying you are walking with iNZUNZA. Do you understand that? That's like saying, it's like us saying you're walking with yourself. You're walking with your higher self. It's you. It's always been you. But when you're a child, it's like you come as iNZUNZA, you are born as iNZUNZA, and then you learn to be human. You know, this is interesting because I haven't really spoken about iNZUNZA in a while, because I did so many readings before about iNZUNZA, and then there would be other supporting readings. Like, I would do a reading about, let's say, what's this thing? Uh the Obanje. Like, an Obanje speaks about basically a spirit like masquerading as a human being. And I would do those readings like that, so that when you watch the readings, you're able to put together the pieces of what you actually are. Because I'm not going to just come out and say it. That doesn't work. You don't gain anything by me doing that. Spirituality is about discovery. Spirituality is like the science of the self, the art of the self, and it's about discovery, because it's an interactive art. It's an interactive science. You speak into the universe, it speaks back. It answers. So yeah, my whole thing was that in the Zunza readings, before, there's certain things I wouldn't mention in the reading, but I would do other readings about those factors so that you can put your story together. I'm saying all of that because right now it seems that I'm about to put certain things together, like what I've just said. You are born iNZUNZA, boo. You are born iNZUNZA, and that's also why I teach you about the social construct, to teach you that the person that you say you are right now is what I guess spiritual community calls the ego also. But it's not like, it's not a bad thing. It's not this thing where, oh, we must kill the ego and whatnot. No, we just have to allow the ego to see who they really are. We talk about the ego as if it's an enemy of your true self. It's not, because that would make you who is watching, your own enemy. And I know people say that a lot, but I don't encourage that kind of thinking of you being your own enemy. Even if you feel like you do things that you don't like, I would rather you try to understand why it is you do those things. And that's why I encourage self inquiry. Why are you doing these certain things? Not trying to make yourself into an enemy of self. That never works. So you are born iNZUNZA. You learn how to be human. What I mean by you learn how to be human is that you learn the social construct. Like, yeah. And then you come on this journey, the spiritual journey, where you walk back to the original sense of self, which is iNZUNZA. Because it's not a mistake that you are actually learning to be human or the social construct. There's nothing wrong with it. It's actually there to help you understand yourself better. I know that, again, people think of the social construct as the enemy. They don't want us to know. No, I'm not saying it's not that. I'm saying I don't encourage you to think like that. There's many ways that you can perceive reality, and I'm just bringing up a possibly more expansive way of looking at it. Because if you look at it as like you've got enemies as the universe, I don't know how far that will take you. But yeah, so the spiritual journey is you walking back into your original templates, which is what we have called iNZUNZA. And then iNkanyamba is the reality of iNZUNZA, because it's very different to the reality of someone who subscribes to the social construct. And that's what I meant in the other, I've said in another reading before that a lot of people talk about leaving the matrix. You leave a matrix into another matrix. You need to ask yourself what a matrix is. A matrix is when thought patterns and emotional patterns crystallize and actually become a reality. So it's not about being outside of a reality. It's just at least be in a high frequency reality. At least be in a reality that better suits who you are by nature. And if the simulacra, if the social construct or what people call the matrix suits who you are, then yeah, of course, be there. Ain't no problem. But obviously, you guys decided that something about this doesn't feel right, doesn't feel like home. And that's basically what the neNKANYAMBA template is. It connects you as iNZUNZA, as someone with a specific nature, to a reality that supports that nature. That's what neNKANYAMBA template is. It's a reality, it's a high frequency reality that supports a high frequency person, or a person esititina unenzunza, or has embodied their higher self. So you connect more to a neNKANYAMBA template or matrix the more fully you embody iNZUNZA yakho. If you are still in the stages where you're working towards connecting to iNZUNZA, you'll find that every now and again you connect to neNKANYAMBA reality. It might not be your constant state of being, but you tend to find yourself there, maybe in your meditation moments, because neNKANYAMBA template also speaks to being present. It speaks to having all the dimensions open to you, not having to actually even initiate that kind of perception by ingesting anything, or initiating, I don't know, any kind of ritual or whatnot, which is the kind of help you need when you are building up to this version of yourself, to a full embodiment. You do need that kind of help. You'll need something like, yeah, you'll need like maybe plant medicine. You will play with the different elements, water, fire, air, earth, in even different rituals, to bring about a state where you lower your defenses when it comes to things that you're afraid of. Like, aspects of you that you're afraid of, because that's all it is. So lowering those defenses of being afraid of things that you don't understand. Things like plant medicine and the rituals help you connect to this neNKANYAMBA template or aspect of yourself, which is a reality. But then the more you embody iNZUNZA yakho, the more you embody your higher soul, the more you embody your higher self. You no longer need those things, because it's like those things are almost like a jump start, because you're able to actually do that anyways, like from the inside. The rituals that you perform externally are a reflection of certain alchemical processes that occur within your inner world. So yeah, iNkanyamba templates. iNkanyamba state of being is that state of being where reality supports your multidimensionality, because you have the ability to always be present. And because of that, you're able to be aware. You're able to be aware. You're able to be constantly aware. To be constantly aware is just to be constantly present. And I think a lot of people also feel like, no, but I am present. They don't understand this notion of being present, The reason why that notion keeps getting taught to you in spirituality is because a lot of the times people are not present. You're thinking about the thing you said yesterday that you shouldn't have said to your friend, which means you're not in today, you're still in yesterday. You're thinking about that thing that happened when you were 14. Maybe someone did something to you that they shouldn't have done. And you're sometimes, every time, let's say maybe something happened at work where you missed the deadline. Every time, let's say you do something that you feel like you did a bad thing, it takes you back to that moment, takes you back to that day. All of a sudden, every time you're really stressed, you'll think about that trauma from your childhood. You'll think about that. You'll basically always take yourself out of the present moment and put yourself in another point of view. If you're not thinking about what happened before, you're thinking about where you could be, the car that you want, and you want to see yourself driving it, the house you want to live in. Everything is just about avoiding the present moment. That's normally what people do. And if you do that, it's kind of hard to communicate with iNZUNZA yakho or entities or ancestors for that matter. You need to be present to access what the spiritual community calls the fourth dimension, which is basically where the fourth dimension is like a meeting space for dense and non-dense beings. Dreams are an example of the fourth dimension. Those who are able to get visions. I say visions because it's more like walking into a different dimension. We say visions as if you sit there and a picture comes to you, not realizing that no, your whole reality has actually shifted. That's why you're now seeing whatever you're seeing, because you are there. And you can only do that when you're able to be present. And iNkanyamba reality template supports that. Basically, people that are able to connect to iNkanyamba are people that are walking with dense and non-dense beings and just interacting with them all the time. I guess it's what also people would call crazy, but it's not, because the people are balanced. Yeah, I actually want to repeat that. So, iNkanyamba matrix, iNkanyamba reality is where iNkanyamba reality is a multidimensional reality. these are people that can just naturally interact with non-dense beings and non-dense non-dense entities, higher concepts, and you are prepared for this through a journey in Zunza, because it is through your journey of Paramisa in Zunza, for some of you raising your kundalini, it is through the journey of that you learn all of these things, all of these processes, where you transmute yourself from a limited idea of yourself to an expansive, higher version of yourself. Not just in theory, but in action also, in being also. Okay, I'm gonna pull some cards. I keep hearing, if this world were mine, if this world were mine, if this world were mine. That's a Luther Vandross song. If this world were mine. I don't know if that's how it goes. But yeah, if this world were yours, it would be you connecting to neNKANYAMBA template. I want to speak about Impundulu, but I don't know how you guys feel about that. Can you tell me in the comments section? Because I'm not going to speak about the evilness of it. You know how it goes here. But I obviously don't want this to be a thing where, like, Sialo, I want to know, if are you ready to hear maybe a more expanded idea of Impundulo? Let me know, and I want to talk about it. But if you guys are still like, Zanne, Impundulu, that shit is evil, like, that's cool, I understand. I'm not going to push you. We'll talk. Maybe there'll be another time. So let me know. Like, is it okay if I talk about that? Because it keeps coming up. It even comes up in people's personal readings, and even then, their guys will be like, "Sis chela wena," so that you understand the bigger concept, but put it to this person in this way, type of thing. It seems that, yeah, the belief systems of people are not yet ready to go into that. Those who know what that is, Cause I mean, again, those who know what that is, look at, like, look at this. It keeps coming up. If you know, you know. Okay, so for everybody else, that was just a ad break. Yes, it's time for you to return to that aspect of yourself that you were born as. Again, the whole journey of becoming human is quite interesting. For a being that has options of other ways of life also, because if you don't have options, then, like, there is no becoming human or being human. It's like, yeah, human. But if you come into this world with another template altogether, like another expansive template, then you will, at some point when you're able to be aware. So even as a child, though, because Pagati, inside, you're more than a child. It's the body that says you're a child. But once uhamba neNZUNZA, guys, inside, you're more than a child. You're a child and umuntu omdala at the same time, really, because your body is a child, but inside, alda, eldest. So it's time for you to return to that state of Yeah, you're done being a child. For you, being a child was being human. It was navigating the human experience, navigating the social construct, and you have collected all this information that you're now ready to put together into something and actually like express. Obviously, that expression will come through as yourself. So it's kind of like you're ready to be in a reality that supports the fact that you understand how this world works, the third dimension, and you understand how to relate to people and whatnot, but you also understand that you can access other ways of being. You are not limited to the human way of being as we know it. So it's not that like maybe you're not human anymore, like because you're expansive, but you're a more expansive version of a human. We can put it that way. You're a more expansive version of a human. You have access to so many ways of being, whereas the human being only has access to the social constructed way of being. But you, through working neNZUNZA yakho, vele ufike la with a more expansive way which connects you to other ways of living, because iNZUNZA connects you to star beings, it connects you to abantu basemanzini, it connects you to it connects you to entities, and all of this abantu basemanzini, in entities, star beings, it's just other ways of being, other ways of living, more expansive ways of being, um different relationship templates, parenting templates, being a man, being a woman templates. Um, you no longer have to subscribe to just this one way because you've outgrown it also. Ufigela, you arrived here having outgrown it, but you put yourself through it, or your guides put you through it. Yeah, because you had to learn the ways, you had to learn the ways. You had to learn the ways here because you're here. Um, and also you had to transcend them so that you could access your way back home. And what I mean by that is to this neNKANYAMBA matrix. And yes, now to be honest, yeah, I love this. You are seen or perceived as something, yeah, you're perceived as something so out there to other people, like they perceive you, but as someone who's aligned and almost free is coming up, the word free is coming up, and maybe people ask like, how, why are you like this, whatever, because uhamba neNzunza, because uyinzunza wena mntakama, because uyinzunza, because uyinzunza. And so okay, Sharpne, njengoba ngisho ukuthi okay, uzalwe, you are born with this template, right? Le eyenzunza uzalwa uyiyo vele. So it also has, there's a way in which it exists, and that's where you are now, and the way in which it exists is again within neNKANYAMBA matrix. I'm saying this again because this is something you haven't yet properly experienced, so it is gonna be, it will feel new, it will feel new. You're used to defending yourself, you're used to this whole thing of, stand up for yourself, and you're used to the war of the dark night of the soul. you're used to looking over your shoulder and being sure that, like, did you just understand that the way it really is, or like what? You're used to being more aware. You're a hyper aware person because of the spiritual journey. It's made you like that. And the matrix, or the reality you're entering into now, you can relax. You're safe. You had to be like that because you were still navigating the whole, you were still navigating the human environment, like with human natures around you and all that. And you still are, but you'll see, hey, the secrets of the neNKANYAMBA template. Basically, it's like accessing the part of other people that is their higher self. And that's what you now work with. And it's also going to make you understand that before, you were accessing a part of these people that is confused and limited and lost. And because of that, maybe it made them mean or aggressive and whatever. And how that was a reflection of what you're also going through, or how you feel about yourself at that time also. But now you feel good about yourself. You feel good about your path. You feel good about the past. You feel good about the future. And because of that, you've opened up iNkanyamba matrix through your iNkanyamba template. You've always known the way. I hope it makes you see Uzi Bodlala. You've always known the way. And you were always heading there. That's what I have for you guys. If the reading resonated, please like, share, and subscribe. If you want to book a personal reading or a mentorship session, all that information is in the description box. Later.